Here are several tips and tricks you might not have already discovered in Palia. When gardening, be sure to check the effects of each crop under their seed information. Crops can add an effect to the crops planted adjacent to them. Carrots and onions prevent weeds from growing onto other crops, while potatoes and tomatoes keep nearby crops hydrated. Cotton boosts the crop quality of nearby crops, and wheat and rice increase the amount of crops received when harvesting. You can check the descriptions of the seeds of a crop if you need a reminder on which crops have which effects. So when you're preparing your garden, consider the layout of your crops and which crops you would like to be adjacent to each other. Some people in the Palia Discord have made a very detailed guide for layouts for crops, which I will link in the description. So if you're interested in min-maxing your crop layout, that is something you can refer to. Did you know there is a second housing plot? This is something I didn't know until just a few days ago. There is a second plot on your housing options that you can switch to. You can do this by pressing H, which is a keybind for the housing menu, and then selecting new slot. You can go back to the original slot by selecting default slot. This means you can add extra storage chests onto it, so the limit of 8 storage chests is now 16. That is 6,400 storage slots you can have in total. You can also buy additional plots for 50,000 gold if you're rich enough to afford it. Also, speaking of storage, you can upgrade your current storage chest by going to the furniture making store. The first upgrade is the copper chest, and the second one is the iron chest, and you can buy the recipes from there. So something that I didn't like was that whenever I wanted to go cook or craft, it would pull items straight from my storage chest. I may or may not have cooked a rare fish without realizing it because of that. This was literally me when I went to go check the rare fish in my boxes and realized I just made it into some cooked food. Anyway, you can actually craft lockboxes. Any items that you do not want to get used up in recipes, you can store in here and they will be locked away in the box. If you want to use any of the items in a lockbox, you have to actually grab the items yourself. So this is a good way to not end up using up items like I did, and you can save those items for when you actually need to use them. When fishing, be sure to check for fishing bubbles. Those fishing bubbles guarantee that the fish you catch will be of a star quality. They basically act as a small fishing buff, and they go away once you have already fished from them. This tip isn't necessarily one you'd find in Palia, but it is very helpful for resource finding. The Palia Interactive Maps helps you find location for different resources so that you don't have to wander around aimlessly looking for pallium ore, for example. It shows the different spawns for each activity like mining, foraging, hunting, and the rest. Note that it isn't conclusive and there may be missing information, so it just serves as a supplemental resource to help you. It does get constantly updated when people find the locations for things, so you can keep an eye out on it in case you end up not finding something originally. And I'll put the link in the description for the interactive map as well. You can take some really nice pictures in Palia with the camera button. Press K to bring up the camera menu. You can then hit the rotating arrows in the bottom right corner to turn it into a selfie mode. Right click to pan and left click to take a picture. To zoom in or out, you can either use the scroll button on your mouse, or you can use the options on the right hand side to use the slider. When you take a picture you want to save, go to the bottom left and hit recent, and then select the images you want and click save to album. This is a good way to take pictures in Palia and screenshots. As of right now, you can't hide your UI, so it's a good way to take the pictures without there being things cluttering the screen. You don't have to run around with the tool equipped all the time. If you press the X key, it unequips any tool you're currently using. I didn't know about this until I went to look through all of the keybinds and found out that there is a way to do that. So if you ever have any questions on something like that, you always should check the keybinds in case you might find something that's helpful or useful. Remember to use your renown on either the Phoenix or the Dragon Shrine. For every 100 renown, the Dragon Shrine increases your focus maximum by 50 focus points. The Phoenix Shrine, on the other hand, increases the conversion rate of your focus to XP. So the more that you get the blessings from the Phoenix Shrine, the more benefit you get experience-wise from the focus that you use. If you're ever unsure which of the NPCs are romanceable, you can go to the Relationships tab, and whichever of the NPCs have 2 bars under their name are the ones that are romanceable. If you go to the Achievements tab, you can actually check which kinds of forageables, hunting, and other fish you are missing. It shows many icons, and the ones that are already shown are the ones you've already caught, and the ones that are darkened out are ones that you have not gotten yet. Those are all the tips and tricks I had today. Comment down below if there were any that you didn't know before. Thank you all for watching as usual, and see you guys in the next video.